Let's talk about what's in the news this morning, and this is coming from what happened in Mombasa yesterday, where the National Executive Council of the Orange Democratic Movement sat and came out with a resolution, and they came out to announce the resolution. First, that they are changing leadership at the helm of the party. Secretary General Edwin Sifuna replaced by his deputy, who is Catherine Omanyo, who now takes over as the Secretary General of the party. For many people, they say this was coming from Sifuna's recent activity and his open disagreement with, for example, some in the National Executive Council of the party, including the party leader. Was that defiance? Was it not? So they met yesterday as a National Executive Council, and they decided, let's make these changes. They basically elevated the Deputy Secretary General to be acting secretary until further decision is made, and they came to make that announcement. Of course, that was received with mixed reaction by many people. There are those who say, oh yeah, we saw this coming, and it was about time that Sifuna leaves this party. I mean, kama ataki ya kwende.
Right.
Others say, no. This is ODM not wanting to listen to other voices within the party. And that is not supporting democracy, pushing for democracy. Right? Are you
I am.
Yes.
I am.
And let's discuss it now and actually even open up the phone lines for you.
Right.
So, Mimi ndiye Sifuna. We know that. I mean, he has actually now branded himself very well from that tag.
Yeah.
Mimi ndiye Sifuna. Previously, he was saying, Mimi ndiye Sifuna, katibu mkuu wa chama cha ODM.
Yes.
Now he is Mimi ndiye Sifuna aliyekuwa katibu mkuu wa chama cha ODM. Or he may choose to say, Mimi ndiye Sifuna, katibu mkuu wa watu wa chama cha ODM. You know,
the People's Secretary General.
Secretary General.
People's.
Mimi ndiye Sifuna, Tosha.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to, it's my brand. I don't need to say anything else.
Mimi ndiye Sifuna.
Nothing extra.
Final.
Right.
The National Executive Council comprises of course, the top leadership of the party, from the party leader to the deputies to the chairperson and members of the executive, who also include the Secretary General. Sifuna was not in this meeting yesterday. The deputy party leader of ODM, one of the three deputies, is the governor for Mombasa, Abdulswamad Nassir. We shall hear from him shortly. But first, let's hear from what this new Secretary General came to announce as a resolution of the NEC, and also the party leader, what he had spoken earlier in that meeting, talking about the errant members of the party, especially in positions of leadership. Listen to this first.
Having deliberated on matters relating to the conduct of the Secretary General, Senator Edwin Sifuna, the NEC resolved to remove him from office with immediate effect in accordance with the party constitution and applicable laws. The NEC resolved to initiate the formal process of withdrawal from the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition in accordance with the applicable legal and constitutional provisions.
This party is a party like a club. When you join a club, you have to obey the rules of that club. You cannot disobey the rules of the club and you continue to pride yourself that I am the party leader of ODM, and yet I contradict everything that ODM is saying officially.
So party leader says, I mean, we're in a club, there are rules of the club. You can't just go out there and start operating as if you are now independent. No, you're not. You belong to the club. Mariam.
If you belong... I want to know the party rules that have been contradicted, specifically, you know, the ones that led to the ouster. When they talk about, what did they call it? Not disrespect for party rules. It was the terminology that was used. A rebellious streak. I'll look for those exact words. But when they gave the reasons for the ouster of Edwin Sifuna, right? Again, can we go case by case and say, you know what, on this date, at this time, at this place, you did XYZ. This is not to say that I don't think there was cause. I'm just trying to interrogate, right, what happened. Before we get into that, though, we'd like to hear from Mombasa Governor. So he's not yet. Okay, Abdulswamad is not on the line yet, but we'll get to listen to him and see what exactly happened and why it was so necessary. I'll be honest, I think an Orange Democratic Movement should be able to sit in, I don't know, a pool of differing views and be able to talk it out and figure it out or not. But the fact that I think his biggest crime has just been going against the wave, the wave of those who are in broad-based. Is that a real crime? I was looking at Junet Mohammed and Governor Wanga. They're looking very serious as the new Secretary General was reading her statement. And I'm like, now that you've achieved this, what next? What does this say for your party? Right. What does it say for the confidence of your party members across the country and even supporters who may not be registered members of the party, but mini or DM damu by the way. Like I'm not in any book registered anywhere. But what message are you sending about democracy in the Orange Democratic
But
movement?
also, what messages were they getting that they had to take this kind of drastic, some might say? What if internally there was also a lot of agitation from SAID members,
right?
Saying, look, publicly, we need to save face. We're not speaking and reading from the same script. I'm almost agreeing with where you're both coming from, because for me, like I said, and I think we were saying it earlier, democracy is that. It's about procedure, I think, more than it should be about political.
Yes.
Procedure is, we are having a disagreement, we're at loggerheads, let's sit down and agree. Can we, what is it? He's like, I don't like broad-based, okay, but now you've signed, we're in agreement, what must we do? I think we can, that's procedure. But I think it was superseded by big political statements, big political muscle and flexing, and then at the end of the day, they said, again, internally, we're getting pressure to move this. But let's hear from somebody who is at the front lines of this.
Yeah, indeed. The deputy party leader of ODM, one of the three deputy party leaders of ODM is Abdulswamad Sharif Nassir. He's the governor of Mombasa. He was the host governor of this particular NEC meeting in Mombasa yesterday. And he joins us on the line. Governor, deputy party leader, thank you for speaking to us. Good morning.
Morning, Eric. How are you?
Very well, thank you. So, of course, you expected the kind of conversation that you're hearing and seeing today, even yesterday, even before you went into this meeting.
First and foremost, no, not before we went into the meeting. It was never an agenda. The agenda was raised and proposed to be an issue that was going to be discussed by some of the members of NEC. And upon discussing, I mean, it would have been very, very ideal for us not to rush into this situation. But unfortunately, a party needs to have some level of discipline as well.
Okay. So what was this agenda that was proposed? I'm assuming that it was added onto the agenda for this meeting. What exactly was the agenda? Was the agenda the Secretary General, or was the agenda discipline?
No, the agenda in general was about the need for a party to have respect for the organs, respect for leadership. We can have differing opinions, there's no doubt about it. But when organs have made decisions, and when I say organs have made decisions, the Central Committee in NEC, the Governing Council, we would all make decision unanimously that this is the direction that we wish to be able to take. It'll be very haywire for each and everyone to go out and start making contradicting statements. We could have our differences even within the corridors and the rooms that govern us, that whenever we talk about these issues. But once we're out, we need to be able to speak as one voice.
Okay. Let me ask you what the threshold for removal of a Secretary General is within ODM.
It's actually a simple majority. And the numbers that were there were actually, I don't want to give details as to who and who, but out of all those were there, I think only 3 abstained.
Okay, so it's a simple majority of the National Executive Committee can remove the Secretary General.
Yes, they're actually, like I said, the numbers were even more than what you would call a simple majority.
Okay, are there then, what would I call them, causes, like, for the removal? then grounds, actually, that's the question. Yeah. So what are the grounds for the removal before it goes to a vote?
There are many issues. I mean, it is not, first of all, it's not my place to start discussing on what details were discussed internally. But as an individual, what broke Kamal's back was the fact that we cannot get up and say that the party leader is there illegitimately. When every process that was taken from the first executive convention that was done, the central committee that the party leader has been chairing, the governing council that was held in Mombasa, where a whole swearing-in process was done.
Yeah.
And eventually, this is what the plan of the party was, that these positions were on acting capacity. Let's go back to the people. The owners of the party are the delegates. Once we have the delegates conference, whoever has differing views can be able to raise those issues there and say that, look, we don't want this person as a deputy party leader. We don't want this person as the party leader. So that position ceases. But then until that time happens, we cannot wake up and start saying that I don't recognize this and I don't recognize this. We sat down and talked about the 10-point agenda. We chose people from ourselves as ODM, tasked them and told them, go out. Before they come back and tell us the status of what this 10-point agenda, we can't just rubbish it out, and we can't rubbish the people that we sent on our own. You know, to go and start working on these 10-point agendas. We're expecting that when they come back to us as the relevant party organs, tell us this is the hiccups that we have seen, this is where we have reached, this is where we feel can be done, this is what cannot be done. But if every single person wakes up in the morning and talks differently because of your own personal conviction and your own personal views, that you don't want us to move in this direction. The party made a decision that we need to start having talks with like-minded parties. The resolutions were very, very clear that the Central Committee had made a decision that let us start. There's an intent for us to start talking. We haven't started talking with like-minded parties, and the decision was made that let us start with UDA. If we feel that the talks are not going to work in the interest of ODM, then we can start talking to other people. And yesterday's meeting was to ratify the position of the Central Committee. That particular decision then thereafter was going to be ratified at the National Delegates Conference. Now, we can all have differing opinions, but when a majority has already said that this is the direction we need to go at the Central Committee, the National Executive, then thereafter we go to the delegates who ultimately give us that legitimacy. People have been trying that we're not meeting as structures, but when we meet as structures, people are not coming up. So when we meet at the executive, people never came up. We're hoping that everything is going to be put to a final stop at the delegates conference. By the way, if it was not for the fact that there was Ramadan that is coming up, the delegates conference would have even been earlier.
Let me ask a couple of process questions here, Governor. So we have the Central Committee of the party that feeds into the Executive Committee, that feeds into the Governing Council. Of course, the delegates are the ultimate owners of the party. Who convenes meetings? So who, for example, according to the party's internal structures, who convenes the National Executive Committee?
The person who chairs the Executive Committee is the chair of the party. The person who convenes meetings and chairs meetings for the Central Committee is the party leader. So the Central Committee, where myself and all the others sit, the top party leadership, is the Central Committee. That's the apex body. And then thereafter comes the executive, where the person who chairs it and convenes it is the chair of the So communication is brought that the Central Committee sat. We've sat for this amount of sittings. It is important for the executive to be able to ratify or come back and tell us, look, you guys did sit down, but we think that this and this cannot be able to move through.
Okay. Now,
that is the way it is.
So these are the conveners. Am I right to assume that then the secretary of these meetings is the Secretary General of the party? Governor, are you there?
Yeah, you were saying?
Am I right to assume that the secretary of the meetings is the Secretary General of the party?
Yes, he is.
So the secretary of the, for example, the Central Committee is the Secretary General.
Right.
And therefore, he's the one who takes notes and minutes of the particular meeting, which has talked about, say, dialogue, and let's begin dialogue with UDA.
Right.
And in the absence of the Secretary General, is it the deputy? Was the Secretary General present at the Central Committee meeting that said, let's start dialogue with UDA?
Actually, that particular Central Committee, which was held in Vipingo, he was not there.
Okay.
He did send his apologies.
So who acted?
We have the party leader can be able to make a decision that whether he's the one who's going to read the resolution.
Okay.
We have the secretariat that can be able to take those particular minutes.
Okay.
And the next meeting that we have to ratify those minutes and to clarify that the minutes were actually a true occurrence of that day. Of course, we're going to have proposers who are members of the Central Committee, and then we're going to have a seconder. So the secretary basically is meant to ratify the decision of the Central Committee.
Okay.
Thereafter, the National Executive, which in the event you feel that no, this is not the direction that we needed to take, and I was not available at the Central Committee, just write that, look, give your facts, give your views, give your opinions, and thereafter we can be able to now discuss it inside the room.
Okay. The secretary to yesterday's meeting is also meant to be the Secretary General of the party.
Yes, but we do have an assistant Secretary General.
Okay. So they only act in the event the secretary is unable to come and absent with apology, or just absent?
Absent without apology, absent with apology. Absent is absent.
All right. An agenda was introduced to the meeting, which says, let's discuss discipline within the leadership of the party, like you've told us. At what point did it narrow down to the individual of the Secretary General of the party?
Well, like I said, I don't want to start giving details as to exactly who said what in that meeting. We were quite a number of us. We were very many. We were more than the required threshold. Not just the threshold, but more than the required threshold.
Okay.
I don't want to start saying who said what transpired at what particular moment. Yeah, our decision was made
reached
by the decision,
again,
by those who were there.
Again, Governor, was there any other official who was indicted in that meeting, apart from the Secretary General?
The issues that were discussed, were other people discussed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course, people were discussed. But I think what actually, like I said, what really acts the party structures is the fact that we cannot move forward as a party by saying that you don't recognize a person or an individual who is sitting at party leadership.
Okay.
Despite the fact that everything has already been passed through the relevant channels.
So the main charge that stood was that one of appearing not to recognize the authority of the acting party leader. I was about to ask, because publicly,
I think there's way more than that. But yeah,
because publicly, Governor, your core deputy party leader, Godfrey Osotsi, has also publicly been saying things that are similar to what the former Secretary General has been saying. Did the issue of Godfrey Osotsi also come to the attention of the meeting?
Allow me not to be able to really get into very, very much details. Is also the part that we have some level of secrecy. We're running a political outfit. We cannot just be able to come out. I mean, right now your viewers are people from different political divergent in parties. Let us not get into the nitty-gritties. But one thing I can assure you is, by the way, it's not just 2 people or 3 people. Everyone was able to raise quite a number of matters. But like I said, I'm reverting back again. The fact that you cannot be able to recognize the person who is leading the party when everyone else in your presence, we were sworn in Mombasa. You can't tell me the person who was swearing you in, the person who was holding the Bible, the person who was giving you the Quran, wakes up the next day and says that I actually don't recognize you. Maybe let me put it in this manner. The Chief Justice swears in the President, and then the Chief Justice next morning goes and says that I don't recognize.
I don't recognize.
I wanted to ask just before we lose you, Governor, before you come in, a lot of, and you've probably alluded to it in some of what you've told us this morning, but ODM supporters are watching. They're confused by sort of like the public disagreement, the visible tension. Speak to them today about where the party is headed and if it's headed in the right direction.
Well, one thing, when you get ill and the doctor tells you you need to have an injection, you try your best to be able to use as much medicine as possible. But eventually, if an injection is what is required, you'll need to get an injection, whether it's to put IV fluids in you or whatever it is. Sometimes your body needs to be able to surgically remove a part of you, something that was once part of you, something that was really, really close to you. You can be able to remove your gallbladder. You remove appendicitis from your body. And if it is required for you to be able to live on, then that is the way it will have to be. I mean, we can't have a situation where people are in rallies and then someone who the party has already said that, look, this person's ideologies are different from what we believe, and it has already been ratified and decided, and then you get someone waking into a rally and then saying that let's go and give regards to so-and-so, someone who is totally against the party principles. You wake up and in that same platform, every decision that has been done by the organ, even from the time when Baba was alive, you know, you give out the some of our core principles who are currently serving in government, and they're told that, you know, they're all rubbished out. You're ruining the party from within. And in the words of Baba, you would rather be few, but you can actually be able to muster courage and soldier on, than to actually be many when every one of you are causing rubble and chaos.
All right, Governor, final question. There's been accusations of meddling from the executive in ODM business, especially as far as the push to remove Edwin Sifuna is concerned. True or false?
That is very, very far from the truth. It's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate that when such words are actually even uttered. Mm-hmm. That is really, really far from the truth.
Mm-hmm. As we're leaving, what next? Is there like an appeal process, or is it a final decision once someone is removed as Secretary General? And then, yes, actually just that. As far as recourse is concerned, is there any?
Well, it depends on the one, the particular individual. Two, there's many legal interpretations to this, whether someone can actually be able to appeal or not appeal. But he has not been removed to be an ODM member. He still continues being an ODM member.
Okay. Thank you. That's Governor Abdulswamad Sharif Nassir, Mombasa Governor, talking to, and also Deputy Party Leader ODM, talking to us about the ouster of Edwin Sifuna as Secretary General. When we come back, we'll sample your comments. There's a lot of them. You're also free to call in if you're a member of ODM, supporter, a viewer, non-partisan, it doesn't matter. 0719038858 is our number. We'll be back after this. Hashtag is Fixing the Nation NTV. The nation.
I know in just a moment we'll hear from a caller. Just some quick feedback online. Stakma Pepe says, a man with two houses dies in the cold. Is ODM really ODM or ODM in UDA? Chungu alishageuka ndimu, tamu kugeuka chungu.
Hey.
Aha, Stakma Pepe.
Siwanzisha pati yao waite ndimu.
The ODM youth outside Nyanza and Murembe Nation have received and heard the message loud and clear. We will be there. Jenga Njogu says, it's so ironic that Governor Abdulswamad says that he can't talk much because there are people from different parties. While in the real sense, ODM organs as remote controlled by UDA party leader. I think he just came back to say, nope, that is very far from the truth.
False.
And then I think we had another one here saying from the way he's talking, they did this with a lot of fear. And Lenny Steve is echoing something Eric said very shortly after Right Honorable Raila Odinga died. ODM is really completely dead.
Yeah.
So we have a caller who wants to weigh in.
Yeah, we have Ali from Lamu who is on the line. We'd like you to call in and just tell us. So what do you read from this? Is ODM going to survive this? Is ODM, there's so many conversations. Is this move to remove the naysayers from the leadership of the party then going to leave ODM as a united party that can forge stronger going forward? Or is it going to continue breaking it apart? Ali, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you very much for calling in. What's your view on this? What's happening?
Yeah, I'm sorry, really, what is happening in ODM after Mzee has died. Remember what went Mzee through when he was arrested by Moi, detained for 8 years. What happened to Mama Eda when she was teaching in Nairobi High. Everything was thrown with her children outside of the house. They slept in the cold for many years. And the old man he suffered a lot, but all that, he never had any pain in his heart. He was forgive boy. He goes for Kibaki, what he did to him when he said Kibaki Tosha. When his father said Kenyatta Tosha, he suffered also the Odinga. But they're all kind. Even if you know very well history, the first vehicle for Kibaki, when it was Bahati MP, it is Odinga who put for him a vehicle. That kindness was in that lower land. Those are not, they're strong and they're also very kind to their country. Two, what I want to say, I've been voting since ever ODM was formed, when it is Indizi and ODM. We voted ODM, and that's how ODM came to power over 20 years. Which is great. The old man has done a lot.
Yep.
Very kind, forgiveness. You have seen what everything was done. Then, now, when Mzee was alive, Sifuna was also controversial like that.
Yeah.
He's very hardworking, very honest man, tells you his word. This is what the people of the type of people we want. Ruto, our president, he has been elected. Whatever was done, whatever he did, cyber and all those things, we don't mind. Like now, he's a president. Now, if our late father has joined the UDA, there's no problem. Because all of us, we are human beings. This is our Kenya. This is not for Ruto's Kenya.
Yep.
This is not Odinga's Kenya. So we want this ODM to unite and not to remove Sifuna and not to remove Baba Wino. Not to, Baba Wino is a controversial man.
Yeah.
Really, since ever in university, helped by them there to take him to Embagasi as when he was still a student of university. So what we need is now, my brother, Governor Nassir. I know him. He's a good man. So we don't want Sifuna to be removed.
Okay.
This is the end of the ODM if Sifuna will be removed. Because the rest of the guys in our junior, they are supposed to form, and if we see far how the old man was dealing with Sifuna.
Okay.
Because Sifuna was also there when Odinga was really dealing with him. He never came out like that. Now Oburu, he has taken over. Plus, is also the daughter of our late father. They should come together first of all, because the house is not in order.
Thank you. Thank you,
Oburu
Ali.
is not making the house in order.
Asante sana. Thank you for your contribution, and you can call in as well, and let's hear what you think. You can also send your comment. What next to the party and to the former Secretary General, Edwin Sifuna? What do you think, Jano? Should Sifuna leave the party? He's only been removed from leadership of the party. He has not been
I don't think
removed
he can.
from
I don't
the
know
membership
that
of the party.
I don't know that he would survive still being part of the party, only because from everything that we're seeing and hearing, it's a discipline issue. And you know, when that lands on you, you're the troublesome child. It's very hard to turn that around, especially when you're sticking to your guns. I know you'll weigh in just now and Mariam, but I've been trying to think about, is ODM dead? I think ODM is negotiating its identity. I don't know that it's dead. I think it's negotiating its leadership structure. It's trying to figure that out. But I think there's an identity shift happening. I know Latif is about to be like, from everything we've said. I think it's an identity issue. Dead is a big word. And I don't know that the person who's just contributed, I really love how he's threaded part of what we said. The story of Raila Odinga is echoed in a sense, in some ways, that bravado, that by Edwin Sifuna. He also said ODM is dead, but I don't know that a lot of ODM supporters feel that way. I just don't know how they can continue to navigate the shifting landscape. I don't think it's dead. I think they're negotiating.
I think it is.
Okay.
I'll be honest.
Okay.
It kind of is. I mean, it's just like a roach on its like last dime, I promise you there's a caller on the line, but I don't know, give it. Let me not even give a timeline, but let's listen to John from
Nyeri.
From Nyeri. John from Nyeri, good morning.
Mzuri sana.
Ukoaje?
Mimi niko poa tu.
Thoughts on this removal of Edwin Sifuna?
Mimi nataka kuongea hali hiyo. Mimi kwanza ni ofisi wa ODM. Mimi ni organizing secretary county branch. Nyeri branch.
Nyeri, okay.
Nyeri county. Organizing secretary. Pia ni chairman wa Kieni constituency. Bila mimi ningetaka kuongea. Inaonekana kama mambo ya ODM sasa haipelekwi kulingana na organs zake. Mwanzo kutoka Oburu Odinga alipoidhinishwa kuwa party leader, it was an illegality. Sababu sisi kwanza NEC, sisi tungefaa tuidhinishe kwanza, alafu nyumaye kuwe na NDC. Hayo yote haijafanyika. Kwa hivyo sisi kama officials wa ODM tungetaka tuwe na mjadala, tuitwe kwanza tujadiliane hayo mambo. Tujue vile chama kitaendelea mbele, sababu sasa inaonekana inaendeshwa na watu wawili watatu.
John, wacha nikuulize. Unasema wewe ni kiongozi wa ODM katika Nyeri branch.
Organizing secretary.
Right? Does that give you a slot in the National Executive Committee?
Yes.
You're a member of NEC.
National Executive Committee. Pia National Delegates Conference.
Zote.
Okay.
So jana ulikuwa
zote
Mombasa?
Mbili.
Ulikuwa Mombasa? Jana?
Nilikuwa Mombasa, yes, at 20.
Oh, at 20? No, jana wakati walikuwa kitoa Sifuna.
Jana sikuweko.
Okay, how come?
sababu vile inaonekana wana mpango ingine ya nyuma wanabadilisha madelegates wale wanasema vile wanataka.
So
the delegates is just being tampered with.
It's been tampered with.
Wacha nikuuliza swali lingine. Party leader amesema mkutano wa delegates conference utafanywa next month.
Hello?
Delegates conference.
Hello?
John?
Hello?
John, natupata? John, ni kama umeenda mahali kuna kelele kidogo.
Hello?
Oh gosh.
Imeharibika. We'll see if we can get.
Yeah, we'll try and get you back because
he's saying that some people were not in the know.
Yeah.
That kulikuwa mpango ingine.
There's a separate list of those who went. That's according to John. Because if he says he sits on the National Executive Council, he says he's organizing secretary for Nyeri and chair for Kieni constituency.
And ideally should have been there yesterday. But the reason he was giving is, it seems like there's something else that's been organized that some of us don't know about. So again, we're getting deeper into...
I'm not sure to the great extent of branch leadership, the National Executive Committee have in terms of membership. If it went all the way, that would be a very, very big committee. And then, there's the National Governing Council. So that's something also just to
keep in mind.
To keep in mind and check on who particularly sits here. The top executive organ of the party. It's responsible for the day-to-day leadership and implementation of party strategy decisions. So it would have the party leader, the deputy party leaders, the chairperson, the vice chairpersons, the secretariat led by the secretary general and the deputy, the treasurer of the party, and the specialized secretaries for various things, campaign leadership, the executive director of the party. So there are about 43 members, the leaders and other representing various party functions across the counties. So to the extent that the Secretary General, the branch Secretary General sits in the neck, it's something that maybe even we can just check the party constitution, and the party leadership can also just clarify for us. And then in that case, then why was not everybody invited to the meeting if indeed he was supposed to be sitting in that meeting?
Some very interesting comments. Lenny Steve, Janet, you can't negotiate when you're divided. Try negotiating anything as the three of you, Janet, Mariam and Eric.
Separately.
Alafu ujifanye mjanja utoe Mariam. Then you decide to go na Eric. After, give us feedback. He's like,
he's giving us a social experiment. Yeah.
And then somebody else here is saying that the current leader, Oburu, is being driven by some leaders, and it's a shortcut. Shem Matengo says, most of those who say ODM is dead are people who never voted for Jacom. You can't purport to be Secretary General, according to, again, Shem Matengo, yet you miss important party functions. ODM recently won elections without Sifuna. We never saw him in party campaigns. And finally, Dan Atom says, no player is bigger than the club. Sifuna had to go.
I don't know whether Shem Matengo actually sees the irony of what he's saying.
That's too different.
That those who say ODM is dead are people who never voted for Raila Odinga, the late Raila Odinga. So
the irony is there.
Yeah. Plain as day.
Do you think it's a perception issue? Do you think that if they rectified perception, because supporters right now, ODM.
Which ODM? The ODM.
ODM A or B, as according to
ODM?
Professor Kibwana.
Yes, Kibwana.
Yes, he told us
ODM.
So let's just go with the ODM of.
Did you just ask which ODM?
Of Oburu Oginga. Okay. So should they do what?
I think there's a perception issue, right? Their supporters are seeing division. They're not seeing unity. They're not seeing a plan. People want a plan. Lead us to a plan in a way without the perceived drama of what's happening. Because drama is superseding even what their core is, ideals, etc. Do you think... I'm in negotiation.
I just want to correct, because the question is framed on a wrong premise.
Which is?
That there's a perception of drama. No. it was confirmed.
No,
it was not a perception.
It's not a perception of
the
drama.
The National Executive Committee,
yes,
in its meeting yesterday,
yes,
confirmed
that there's drama.
That there is drama.
So
it's not a perception, and that's why they even came out to discuss it. And they say that there is clear indiscipline when leaders speak out of turn. When leaders come out publicly to speak one thing, and yet they've participated in decisions that say a different thing, and this is drama. So it's not perception. You know, perception would be well,
maybe there is,
maybe there is, maybe there is not. The party organ that is responsible for running the party on a daily basis has actually discussed and released a statement confirming that there is drama.
Excuse me, teacher.
Okay.
What I was trying to
and
say.
Now they have cleared that confusion of drama by removing the errant voice.
Very good. So I think what I'm trying to say is, yes, it's not that there's a perception of drama. Maybe I should have said it better. It's what supporters are viewing. It's I may be stating the obvious. It's less unity, it's less direction, it's more drama. Sometimes can those two be held differently? Can people actually be able to negotiate identity? Let me just be in the Lulu land kidogo, while also avoiding unnecessary inflammatory remarks and drama that come with that. Is there a way that ODM can continue to negotiate this transition without the drama and the division? Because I think if that can happen, it could allay fears. But right now they're negotiating it with a lot of divisive remarks, etc.
Can I sweep the conversation and take it just a little bit higher?
Yes, ma'am.
Who wins? You know when they say the house always wins. Who is the house in this case? When there's internal fractures, whatever you call them, drama, not drama, ouster of Sifuna, not ouster, Who stands to gain? Let me read a comment.
Everybody else, the competition.
So Triple M said ODM isn't dead. It's probably weaker than it was when Baba was around. But even with Sifuna's ouster, the individuals that remain will still have strong political influence to mobilize for Ruto.
Yes.
What is happening, this is Ken now saying, and we can all see, is ODM is now being driven with leaders full of greediness. Oburu Oginga looks like it's about to go down. Looks like it's about to go down. Let me just say this. As we ping pong and debate who stands to benefit, right? It is their political opponents. So then internally, are they not aware of this? They absolutely are. They know. So it's either one, parts of the party are okay with being split and co-opted, right? And they're just like, that's fine. I win. The party loses, but I win as an individual. Or there's just like an incredible lack of situational awareness, which I doubt is the case. So what this tells me is essentially there are no people intent on keeping ODM together as a party. It's basically everyone for themselves. Because if you were incentivized, you would understand that splitting, looking divided, making headlines like this benefits no one except your
own interests.
I'll tell you, look at all our political parties, right? Apart from this kind of thing that had one party leader for so long, he died, then it had another party leader for so long, he voluntarily left office, and then after that, it has just happened the way it has happened. Look at the other political parties. When the supremo of the party leaves the party, either by death or by walking out, that outfit dies. There's nobody else strong enough to pick up the outfit and hold it together. Where is DP today? When Mwai Kibaki left DP and went into NAK and became NARC and became whatever in 2002, the Democratic Party was just left as a shell. When he left this NARC and went into the PNU, that NARC thing was left into a shell. So we had NARC Kenya, we had NARC with Charity Ngilu holding on to NARC, right? When Raila Odinga himself left LDP and went into ODM, that LDP outfit just whatever happened to it. It's the same thing that has happened to URP with Ruto. It's the same thing that happened to TNA with Uhuru saying, let's all come together into one big Kumbaya house, call it Jubilee. It's what would happen if Uhuru decides, now I'm done with Jubilee. You watch what will happen to that Jubilee. It's the same thing. Raila Odinga was ODM. Raila Odinga has left ODM. Everybody else was just looking up to Raila Odinga in this outfit. And so everybody else is just now struggling to find their place.
I agree.
Not in ODM, to
Elsewhere.
find their place politically.
I agree. I was just going to ask, because we're completely out of time, what's the what next? We know where the broad-based people will go. Right. That one is very clear. For the others, for your...
ODMB.
No. I think according to Kibwana, that's ODMA. Depends. Right. So for your Sifunas, your Babowinos, your Rengos, where do they go? Given that one Mushom's amesha changed tune, so we don't have it was Kenya Moja. What are we calling that?
They have a new outfit called Linda Wananchi.
Yes, Linda Wananchi. So where do these now? When they wapi?
They try and make it with that and hope that they can carry some weight, because I think this is the chance for them to come out strongly and say, we are the people who always wanted ODM to go in this way. So now let's come together with those who resonate with us and push something. It's 2026, just like a year and something before elections. It's tricky to drum up that kind of support and resourcing etc. with people who are already aligned with the incumbent. That, I think, is going to be the biggest challenge. Will they get supporters? There's so many. How many people have said, ODM is dead because Sifuna is out. We're going where Babu etc.
Yeah.
I don't think they lack supporters, but the muscle to be as strong,
right?
I think it's that easy. What do you
Eric,
think, Mariam and
no,
Eric? Yeah,
I was going to even time, man.
9.
Last, Eric.
Yeah.
Last. Does this improve or decrease Sifuna's chances of defending his senatorial seat, or even perhaps vying for a different one?
I think he's stronger. Right? This is giving him political mileage and some sort of legitimacy and lionization. Every politician is looking to be the lion to the people. So this is lionizing Edwin Sifuna. It's perfect for him. It's perfect for Babu Owino and what has happened. On the other side, the ones that have been left now can go and say, now all of us are seeing the same thing with whoever they'll negotiate with. They have agreed at the Central Committee that we are going to start our negotiations with UDA. UDA has said, we are willing, we are ready, we are willing to lay the red carpet for you. So it'll make it easier for them to have that negotiation. Everybody, like I said, is looking for where to perch after Baba left them.
Okay.
I mean, today we're talking about identity. We'll carry that conversation into the next hour with Ian Gitimu, tourism entrepreneur. It's Shika Mike, identity, diaspora, and Kenya's future. It's 9 a.m. We'll be back in just a moment.